actually now, notice, these are fancy words to disguise some truth, and I'd like to introduce the truth. What he really becomes is a subject. And when he enters into this relationship voluntarily, he is really his ruler. He is really a ruler. And as a result of that, because of his knowledge and because this person entered into the relationship voluntarily, he then has the right to command the subject and order that subject to follow a certain course of behavior. He has the right to say, take this medicine, do this kind of thing. That is his right. It's his right because of the knowledge. Because of that, then, he now becomes, in the full sense, a ruler. Now, in the course of the treatment plan, this subject may endure and go through even greater pain and suffering than they had before accepting that physician as their physician and treatment master. So they may go through more pain, endure greater hardships, change their way of life, their relationships, and the whole question, of course, is, why would anyone want to do that? Take the easiest case of all, the dentist. Would you not agree that the dentist, we have all suffered under a dentist, and would you not agree you go through greater pain with the dentist than you would at any other time? Why are we so foolish then to endure more pain, experience greater hardships, change our way of life? Why do we go through all of this? Are we not then becoming masochists and allowing this person in charge to produce such pain upon us? There's only one reason. What's the reason?
Want to get well.
And then in that sense,
To avoid greater pain.
to avoid a greater pain, one big word, benefit.
A perfect example of this is the movie King George.
Mm-hmm.
He went to the doctor, and the doctor took over his complete life.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what's the only reason we're willing to go through this? Benefit. Let's try one more thing. If the subject, if our subject, who changes it, right, he changed his name from merely being an individual person, he becomes a patient because he enters into this relationship voluntarily, because he has a certain belief. The belief is that by entering into this relationship, even though he may go through greater distress than he had before, he's doing it because he thinks in the long run he may benefit, and that may in fact change what might be inevitable worse conditions if he didn't do so. Now look here. Suppose our subject, the patient, discovers that all of the remedies, everything the physician is asking him to do, benefits him rather than the subject. Suppose he discovers that the drugs and the treatment plan and everything that he does brings about a greater benefit to the physician. What does he have a right to do?
Dissolves the relationship, hopefully.
And bring him into court
Yeah.
for malpractice. Therefore, in this relationship, anytime there's a suspicion that the person with the knowledge is making their decisions to benefit themselves rather than the subject, we call that malpractice, don't we? And we have a right to bring them into court.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm going to go one more step. This is somewhat heretical, of course, but here it is. The person with, what we are now going to call this, an art. The person who has the art then has the knowledge. With that knowledge, he's able to make a diagnosis, a treatment plan, a follow-up. He then will only accept those people who voluntarily enter into a relationship with them. The person who enters into it must have a belief. That belief must be that they have the knowledge and they're going to use their knowledge to get the benefit that the primary benefit goes to them only. Now, I'd like to introduce two more ideas now. Here we go. Would you agree there can be there can be a set of twins? Twin doctors, exactly alike in all the grades they've ever received. They do everything exactly alike. There's only one difference. And one will make one a preeminently successful physician in the way in which we're talking about, and the other a failure. It all depends on just one word.
Now, legal. One is legal.
They're both legal.
Okay.
Both legal.
Okay.
Let's try it. They can get the same grades if they have, he must have one thing different, and that is,
You have to have ability to give confidence.
no, not even confidence. See whether this is true or not. To the degree that he has a very clear perception, a very clear idea of what is health. He must have an ideal of what health is. An unmistakable ideal of healthiness. See, healthiness, the quality of health. The one who has the sharper idea of that, intuitive idea, because you can't teach it, to that degree would you agree that the person is able to see the difference between the conditions of his patient much more sharply, because would you agree a diagnosis is nothing other than taking the ideal and subtracting the condition of the patient. That subtraction is the diagnosis. That is the diagnosis, isn't it? The sharper the person has the ideal of health, of healthiness, the quicker and the more efficient and with greater acuity they can make a diagnosis, make sure the treatment plan works, and the patient benefits. Would you go further and say, this whole art of medicine, therefore, is nothing other than the person with the knowledge is trying to bring the patient closer to that ideal. That's the whole goal. To the degree that the patient is able, to the degree that the diagnosis and treatment plans follow that, it is successful. One more step now. Remember I said two. Would you agree that this physician, who is far more successful than his brother, may in fact be poorer? Matter of fact, he could even work for free. And that would in no way detract from his ability to be a great physician. Because the success that a person has financially is a result of mastering something independent of an art. And that is the skill. It's a skill. It's not an art. And we're going to go into this in a minute. It's the skill of how to enter into, and to manage contracts. That ability, the skill to enter into and manage contracts, and how to collect fees, and how to establish all kinds of money matters, is separate always from any particular art a person may master. Right. Notice, we're not calling this an art. Right. Now, let's see if we can now apply this to what we said, and let's see if we can do it and bring it together. Now, remember we said we're going to use the model of the physician and then jump through each of these categories and apply it successively to each. A pilot of a ship. Would you agree? If a pilot is a pilot, he must have a knowledge. Yes. If he has a knowledge, he must then be able to order and command people to do as he tells them to do. But they have to enter into that agreement voluntarily. They have to believe that he has the requisite knowledge to make the kinds of decisions on the high seas.